Welcome to Shrouded Realities. Today we're coming to you with a special guest. We got Marty with us today.
Hey guys.
And we've got a fun little subject. I say fun.
Is it fun?
I say fun.
Kind of feels terrifying a little bit.
It's a little terrifying, but multifaceted.
We just want to kill 6 billion people.
We're not killing 6 billion.
Indirectly.
We're not.
No, we're not.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Somebody wants it. I don't know who or why, but they do.
The elites want it.
The deep state.
The elites.
Deep state wants it.
They don't want us populating because we're lowlifes, and they don't want our genetic impurities and messing up the world.
Nice little touch there.
Yeah.
You like that?
Is that my fancy?
Yep.
You like my fancy?
I live in a gold mansion.
I didn't let it roll through twice this time.
Good.
I did that on the last one, and y'all didn't cover for me well enough that I could fix it, so it just was what it was.
You'd think 42 episodes in, we'd have this
You'd
down
think
by
we'd
now.
know what we're doing.
No, now we got a dog.
We
walking
prove
around
every week that we have no idea what we're doing here.
every week.
Yep.
So let's fill the people in. What are we talking about here?
Population control, Malthusianism.
Yep.
Wow, you said it right.
That's
I
a
did.
big word.
50-cent word.
I've been practicing it
In the
a
mirror.
lot.
Malthusianism.
Malthusianism.
He was driving
Yeah.
up here. Malthusian.
Malthusianism. But Marty's Steven's father.
That's right.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for, the opportunity.
Nice.
Made it to the episode, 42?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. 40.
That's how old you are, Joey.
No.
Right?
41. This is 41. So
This
we're
41?
still younger.
You're
We're still
trying.
younger than Joey. We're still younger than Joey.
I'm 43. So I guess next week's episode we can have a party or
Yeah.
whatever stupid thing you want to do.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to Dollar Tree and get some party hats.
Yeah.
Something.
That's weird.
It is.
Because we didn't do it for y'all's age.
Yeah. But like I said in the last episode, it's just because we have more time.
And this topic's more pertaining to you than it is to us.
That's right.
It really is.
Okay.
It really is. That's the only fear I have about this whole subject.
Yeah.
Is the big scary part is they say that there's not going to be enough young people to take care of the older people when they get to elderly age.
Yeah.
So that's the only
Well,
piece
you've
of
got
this
kids,
that scares me.
though. You
Yeah.
do have kids.
I've only got 2.
Well, how many you need?
Well,
2.1 for
2.1.
replacement.
Really?
You're really
So
screwed
you're
up.
just
man.
a little
I'm
behind.
behind.
Yeah.
It's not too late, Joey.
That 10th of a kid's going to get me.
You're gonna wake up one day and be like, crap.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I wish I had that 10th
But
of a
don't
kid.
worry. In the future, we're gonna have cold, heartless robots taking care of
That's
you.
right.
Ooh.
We got AI. It's on its way.
Yep.
It always makes the right decision.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
It's-
No doubt.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a useless eater if you're going to be that guy, because they will finish you off. They'll be like,
Yep.
nah, not this guy.
Yes, its oxygen just blood's too low. Just
Think
take 'em out.
you think euthanasia becomes automated at that point?
Yeah.
It kind of already is.
Well, they're already doing that.
Yeah.
They're doing
Canada, man.
Canada, they got the suicide pods.
It's like when you hit a certain bill and your medical bills are like, nah, you're done.
Yeah.
You're cooked.
Did you say the suicide pod failed and they had to suffocate them?
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Is that not?
There was a story not
Why
too long
wouldn't you
ago.
just okay, this one didn't work. Let's put you in a different pod.
Probably jacked them up pretty bad, whoever
Yeah.
it was.
Okay, still, don't just choke me out on the table. Like, okay, no, quiet. It's going to be okay.
Like, it was a success.
You see that scene from Me, Myself, and Irene with
Yeah.
a cow? And he's trying to put it out of its misery. And he empties a gun into it and it just won't die. That's what I feel like that scene
That's
was
what
like.
that would be.
Like that
We probably shouldn't be laughing about it, but yeah,
Yeah, it was somebody's grandma.
it was. Well, they kind of set themselves up for that, I guess.
They
but
asked for it, didn't they?
They did. Anyway, population control. Is it a thing? Is that what they're trying to do to us?
Is it indirect? Is it direct? Is it both?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest thoughts was, is this an evil scheme, like somebody just playing master of puppets?
Dr. Evil in the background.
Yeah. Or is it just natural, just the progression of where we are in society?
From all the things that I was able to look at
Mhm.
and ponder and research, I think there's a lot of dots that do connect with this, that as we're, I think, talking about it this morning, we're going to see more and more, this leads to this, which leads to this.
Mhm.
And I'm still a little bit undecided if that is a if there's a nefarious plot behind it to make that happen, or if you're seeing that there's some unintended consequences as a result of, well, we promoted this and we didn't know it was going to lead to that, but then how can we exploit that and take advantage of it? And that I definitely believe is going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different factors, a ton of different factors that's causing people to not have as many babies. You've got food, and pharma, which is messing up with our health. Plastics, BPA type stuff getting in, causing lower fertility rates and lower testosterone and higher estrogen.
The societal part of it.
Societal part of it. You got
your career to worry about.
You got your career to worry about.
It's too expensive.
Yep. What do you call it? The materialistic aspect of it, to where people think they need to be rich before they have babies.
Right.
So that's pushing them to wait until they're 30 or so to have their baby.
And then they can't.
And then by then they can't, because of the plastics and BPA and stuff in their system, causing them to have lower sperm counts. So
But the common theme with so much of that is people are governed by fear.
Yep.
Who is promoting fear, though, in our society today? I mean, I saw one poll that said 39%, so practically 4 out of 10 people are afraid to have a child now because of climate change.
Wow.
4 out of 10.
I can't even put myself in that headspace.
I feel like that's the least of your worries if you're thinking about having a baby.
Like that is, I can't even wrap my brain around. Well, it's gonna get 1 degree hotter in 100 years, so I don't need to have a child.
The carbon footprint of my baby is gonna offset the world.
It's a tiny footprint.
It is. Yeah. It's a baby footprint. Actually.
That's big.
It's about that big.
Well, you guys won't remember it, but I do. In school, elementary school, they began pushing. First of all, we was going to have an ice age. Okay. Then it moved to, in our little weekly readers that we got, acid rain was going to be a problem.
I remember acid rain. I thought that was going to be a problem.
I was scared to death of acid rain.
I thought that was going to be a deal.
There you go again. Scared. Early on, was going to be frightened about it. Global warming was next. Then finally, where we are today, it's climate change. So anything that happens, I know this is going to drop, a couple of weeks from now, but the day that we're recording this is, think about the weather that is forecast for us.
Sure.
Tornadoes. But if it wasn't doing that, and it was sunny and 75, well, that's too warm for mid-March.
Yeah.
So that's climate change.
Well, with a phrase like climate change.
Yeah.
It's so vague that any change in the climate is climate change.
Yeah, it's kind of like someone speaking broken English, climate change.
Climate change?
Yeah, because it did go from global warming to climate change, just so that they can poke it.
They're like, crap, we messed up 4 times in a row.
It's too cold right now. Climate change.
Al Gore movie, which has been completely disproven and inconvenient truth that he made, that we should all be underwater right now.
Yeah, is it all his fault? Like, can we pin it on him? For making it mainstream like that? I think he is big time responsible for it. I think he was definitely, at least in the popularity of the subject. Because before that, you'd have to go to college to hear some professor talk about the numbers or whatnot. And then Al Gore just blew it up on a national global stage.
Yeah, he popularized it with that documentary for sure, which I've never watched because I like to
it was bull hockey.
It was too inconvenient.
It was too
That's right. I'm never getting that time back in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Too convenient.
I'm a documentary guy, but no, I can't.
Yeah. I've never even seen it pop up. You know what I mean?
Well, because now all of it's been proven and false. So it's really hard to.
It's like Florida would be underwater.
So you got to have the catch-all thing.
Yeah.
Now you've got the change in verbiage and the change in words of climate change, and then you can encompass everything that happens in that word.
And then all the other words that connect to it. That if you're not a climate change activist, you're everything else in the book. Because of that. It's a big circle of words that, if you're not agreeing with one of these things or all of these things, so it's just demeaning.
Oh, kind of like voluntary population optimization. Yeah. From the UN Messenger of Peace.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great title?
The UN Messenger of Peace.
Yeah. That's a person?
Well, that was a person who is in that role, Jane Goodall, who said that rather than family planning, it's now been changed to voluntary population optimization.
That was the video.
That sounds sweet.
That sounds so sterile. Like a hospital room.
Well, what would you expect from the messenger of peace?
Right. The warm hug. No.
Jane Goodall, by the way, who has decided to not eat meat anymore. I don't know if y'all have seen that.
More for me.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
Keeping them tea.
I found out she's not American, so I'm thankful about that.
A bunch of climate deniers.
Yeah, I know. That's what we are.
You just want dirty water.
As you're drinking your sodium bicarbonate.
Oh, man.
To me, that segue, thank you, was to me, that seems like the biggest play for a upper level elite Malthusianist to play is the food system. Like, it's easiest to manipulate.
Yeah.
You can run it under the guise of making money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're slowly sterilizing the masses
over time,
I mean, that'd be the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. If I was a hoity-toity sit on a golden throne person,
but
because you can't just come out and say it.
My only thing with that is who benefits from that. If you're 100 years down the road, okay, we do this 100 years down the road. The guy that set this in play is not going to benefit from that. So
unless he's just demonic? I don't know.
I actually think that's
probably
take all the innocent souls you can.
Nephilim agenda.
I actually think that's really the route I was going.
Another dot. Let's get our little board with the little pins.
We've been talking about it for 6 months.
Yeah. Yep.
Daggum, it all connects.
Yeah, and that's like, if you say that out loud, people look at you crazy. Like, people are able to be that evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know they can be.
Yeah.
Well, since we're going there,
let's do it.
Let's do it, okay? Very first command that God ever gave to man, Genesis 1:28, about be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Fill it.
Yep.
Okay? Don't reduce it.
Not like
fill it and subdue it.
Don't worry about how many people is going to be later. Just do what I tell you.
But, okay, here's the bookend of it. Paul in 1 Timothy 4:3 said, now the Spirit expressly says, like, make sure you get this, that in later times, some are going to depart from the faith. Now, when it comes to having children, it does take some faith, okay?
It does.
It really does. We're not denying that. But they're going to depart from the faith, and they're going to devote themselves to deceitful, so lying spirits.
Yeah.
So what are they going to teach? What are they going to be saying to us? Well, don't get married.
Ooh.
Secondly, and abstain from eating meat.
Interesting.
And it's something that those two things together are mentioned, and that they're lies, and it contradicts the very first command that God gave to man.
Yeah. Is to be fruitful and multiply. Interesting.
So I do think the original question that you asked was there some kind of nefarious agenda behind this? If indeed there is, I think that's it. That's Marty's opinion anyway.
Yeah.
That's where it all, the root of this comes from, and everything else is an offshoot of that lies.
Because, like, if you think about it, nobody just stumbles into being evil like that. You just don't fall into I just killed a bunch of people. Oops.
Not typically.
Like you just like, oops, I made a bad decision. I killed 100 million people. It's like that doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
There's always a thought that occurs before that.
There's a start. Yeah.
And when you're trying to manipulate the masses through propaganda and mass media, it usually doesn't come from a good place.
No.
You know what I mean?
Normally starts with a little bit of truth, but a majority lie somewhere.
Yeah, like the acid rain.
Like acid rain. We kind of glossed over that. I thought that was going to be a bigger problem in my life.
I did too.
Because that was taught to me as a kid.
Because what they were going to say is it's going to kill all the plants and stuff.
Yeah, it was going to kill everything.
Guess what? Guess where the acid's at now?
Where? It's in our water.
Not in the rain.
Yeah.
It's in our mass produced.
It's from the weather machine. It's from that weather machine that they absorbed all of it.
Yeah. Because I mean, no lie, your garden does better with rainwater as opposed to anything that comes out of the tap.
It's like it was designed that way.
Like it's trying to keep us from taking care of ourselves.
Another thing I want to hit on is like people who say it's too expensive to have kids. It's like, when was it ever not expensive? In a sense of not just monetary, but like physically, mentally. Like, when has it never not been expensive in those ways?
Yeah. I had that thought on the way up here. Like, you thinking back over time and even recent history in like the 1800s, people had babies to have workers. You know what I mean? Right. You needed people to take care of your homestead, your property, your farm. So
that's how you ate.
So they was having babies to make that, and that was probably the poorest time in American history. You know, like they didn't have a lot. They grew their own and hunted their own and bartered for their own.
Yep.
And then
they were poor in money but rich in life.
Yeah, and now
you were probably living in a 1-bedroom shack somewhere that you built with your buddies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's even the space argument, which I watched something on Japan last night because they're pretty much
extinct. They're cooked. Yeah,
I mean they're pretty much gone.
Really?
I saw like 28% of their population right now is over 65 years old.
Yeah.
By 2065, it'll
like
be
40 something.
It'll 50? Be 40% at that point.
Yeah.
So at that point, you can't have replacement. I mean, there is no replacement that can happen at that point. Their apartments, and this is one reason, if you go outside of their rural type areas, nobody lives there anymore. It used to be around 7 million, I want to say.
Yeah.
Now you're talking like hundreds of thousands live in those rural areas.
Shoo.
Their economy for a 95 square foot room is $1,100 a month. That's how much it takes to live in a place.
So
it's $1,100.
A room this big
that we're in right now.
That you enter by a stairway.
Yeah.
From when I was there.
Yeah, he
a
just
very narrow stairway.
Wow.
But you have one room and that's it. So I mean, even if you did have a kid, you really ain't got nowhere to put them.
No.
Unless you started living in those rural areas, but they can't afford to live in the rural areas because their economy is horrible.
Can't buy land.
And if you have fewer children, then you need fewer schools. And what schools you do have may not be located near you.
Yep.
Ooh.
So, again, another
just a
domino effect here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched an interview on the Chris Williamson I think it's podcast, but I watched it on YouTube, his YouTube channel. But he's worried about this. Like, he had multiple guests on from all over the world talking about this issue, population issue. And he said that in Japan, he had a guy that, a researcher, he sounded English. I couldn't pick up where he was from, but he was living in Japan at the time. And he said that the Japanese, and one of the reasons why he was putting out all this information, was because he was worried about what I brought up earlier about being too old and not having somebody to take care of you. And he said he sees it daily, like 70-year-olds, which to me is not that old. You know what I mean? Like get in the 90s, that's pretty old. You probably need some help by then. But 70s, they can't take care of themselves and they're begging for suicide. Like their conditions are just
this
so
is in Japan.
poor in Japan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never did pick up on where do you think? Why do you think Japan is having that big of an issue? I know we're all getting there, but why is Japan?
I think
there
their
now?
work life setup is like way whacked. Like
it is.
Their work like is over everything else.
Yeah, they work like 90 hours a week.
They sleep at work basically.
Yeah, 6 days a week. They work, and like you said, long hours during those days. So
it's like you have no time for a family.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So if you're doing that, what caused that? Why are they so work heavy?
I think part of that is the economics. So what I was watching was talking a little more about World War II and how we pretty much owned Japan after that. I mean, there was a treaty that pretty much said, "Hey, we'll keep you up economically, but you're going to keep all of our military.
The Japanese
bases
yen
and
was
all
never
that.
very strong either.
Yeah.
So like, if anything happened, it just tumbled.
A poor economy all the way around. So then they're having to work 70, 80 hours a week just to provide for themselves.
To keep up, because their inflation has went up, but their money over time has not, whatever they're bringing in has not kept up with that inflation. That's why a 95 square foot apartment is $1,100.
Yeah, because like unlike their exports aren't like oil and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's mostly just like technology and
Nintendo.
Most of that. Yeah,
it's
that's
Nintendo.
Basically it.
It is for real.
And then when there's
that's a great export.
It is a good export.
Nintendo.
I'm into Nintendo.
When there was,
we got to keep Japan going, man.
And then when there's lack of innovation in that sector, it's like it doesn't take long for it to tumble.
Yeah.
But innovation is going to suffer because you have fewer
people.
Mm-hmm. Which in turn, businesses will either not be started or they're going to stagnate and
be sold off to another country somewhere,
or not exist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, I hate to be repetitive, but another domino.
Yeah.
With that,
I'm sure we'll get to this point, but I don't want to start now. But political, but the in quotations, the replacement theory, which you say that you're automatically a racist. But I mean, it's hard. Yeah. You can't ignore that while looking at the stagnation of birth and
sure.
the solution to that. That people were saying has to happen.
Yeah. So the Malthusian mindset. Let me give a little.
See, I like it that you keep getting that in there.
That's where I lived.
He was in the shower this morning just saying Malthusian.
I'm going to say it as many times as I can because I practiced it a lot.
Malthusian.
Your wife was like, shut
up with the Malthusist. Thomas Malthus is where this came from. He in the 18th century, he was a British economist, and he had the theory. He wrote a paper on it. I don't know how you write an essay and then it go this viral that we're talking about it 200 years later, but
he on TikTok.
Yeah. But he was an economist, and he proposed a theory that population growth would outstrip food production. So like there would be not as many. There's not going to be as much food production to keep up with the population demand.
Yeah.
Of course, he was proven wrong because that was a long stinking time ago, and we've just.
What I wonder what information he was looking at.
I don't know. It just says a theory, so I'm sure he had something to write.
He had to have some kind of basis.
Yeah.
Well, we've pretty much covered the. I'm not going to say we've covered it, but we've discussed that we don't have enough people. What we haven't discussed as much is the other people saying we have too many people, which is kind of what you're getting into there.
Right.
Is they're saying, I watched a video with Bill Gates, and I say this every week, like I need to send you something so you can put it in the video. Make me do that.
Okay.
But I watched something, and Bill Gates was giving a talk on where we'll be, and I want to say it was in the 2060 kind of time frame, 2100 maybe. He said that we're going to be hitting around 9.8 billion people, which is a large number of people.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, but if we're able to do what we need to do with vaccines, we can reduce that number by 15%.
Oh, yeah.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
You tell me about that.
You don't think that was a Freudian slip or anything, or do you think he was
Freudian slip?
No. I think that was
he meant what he said.
He said the quiet part out loud. I think that's what.
And nobody checked him on it.
Yeah, he was checked on it. They're like, "What do you mean by that?" Oh, well, I didn't really mean it.
Why are we letting the nerds rule the world?
Yeah, I mean, this dude. He's already doing plenty of things. He's big on the population control situation. He's probably one of the loudest speakers on that topic.
But if you're a dyed-in-the-wool believer in this stuff, then that is for the common good.
Yeah, he thinks he maybe think he's doing good.
Yeah. I mean, that justifies a certain amount of population engineering.
Yeah.
Which again, that's a scary term too.
You get to play in God with that, like worrying about.
Isn't that been the point the whole time?
Yeah, like just always thinking that
God didn't say that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point.
There's another
domino.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the elites always tie to this. Eugenics ties to this.
I was trying to find a way to get there because
the end justifies the means.
Yeah. Anytime that's said, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we were gonna do a eugenics episode. It's kind of a scary topic all the way around. I think this is a way to kind of dip our toe in it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a total buzzkill.
It
topic.
Was like there's no way to be
like
funny.
This one's not, but
there's not really a way to be funny while talking about we need to mass kill. Imbeciles is what they call them.
Yeah. So the eugenics thing it plays more on racism and elitism than any of it. Well, and I think that's
the undesirables is what they called them. So
useless eaters.
Useless eaters. Yeah. That's where it naturally goes, at least. I mean, it may start with race and if you have any kind of physical deformity or mental deformity, anything like that, then you would gone.
Yeah. And that's where the elites, I think, play that because they can't just come out and say I'm racist or I'm classist.
Yeah.
But it is okay to say, man, I'm really worried about having too many people to be able to feed them. I'm really worried about that. But really what you're worried about is eliminating different skin color people and lower class people.
Yeah.
That are an inconvenience to you.
Bring in a better world, a more pure world that doesn't have all of these undesirable people.
Yeah.
So to have a utopia, you've got to first have a dystopia, right?
Uh-huh.
Got to get rid of
that. Got to make everybody scared and afraid that something terrible is going to happen, and therefore, I need to yield control to these people that are smarter than I am, so somebody else gets to decide if I get to create or not create.
Well, I mean, just some names to float out who were big proponents of the eugenics stuff. You had Margaret Sanger, who we can talk about a little bit if we would like to.
She was a jewel.
She was a garbage person.
Was she a messenger of peace too?
She would probably claim to be.
Yeah.
She was big in the women's movement stuff and family planning, as they call it, which sounds really nice, doesn't it?
I want to tap into
population optimization.
Use the proper term, Steve.
It's a Malthusian term.
And let me tap into that too. Like the whole population. The control that we have is really placed on the shoulders of women because they're the ones putting out the babies.
Yeah.
And I wonder when the start of demonizing motherhood started, because like a lot of women don't want to be moms anymore.
I would say the start of that was probably during World War II and maybe even Depression a little bit because you had to send the mother out to provide.
Oh yeah, they had the Rosie the Riveter campaign.
While the men are at war, you need to be, and I think that's where a lot of that shift probably did happen of like, well, I don't need to be home cooking your supper and doing these things, which I'm boiling that down to its most basic form. Let's just, before everybody gets mad and says that's what I'm thinking, it's not.
My wife stays home. She cooks me dinner.
Yeah, my wife better have
you with your
supper.
Toxic masculinity.
She don't ever leave the house.
Just a little sprinkle.
Yeah,
we might be going there. We might be. Everybody can get ready for that conversation. But that's where that shift, I think, really happened. And then you start bringing in the feminism movement right after this in, 60s probably?
Yeah,
it's really where it hit its peak.
ERA amendment and so forth.
Yeah. Burn your bra.
And,
hippies.
No, you got me.
But, I mean, all of that stuff really popped off during that time frame, I would say. And, you don't have to be the woman just sitting at home, barefoot and pregnant that whole conversation,
Yeah.
And that's the angle that they would take is look how demeaning it is that he thinks that you should be here doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of that popped off.
Your life would be enhanced if you get out of the house and experience what everybody else does.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder how does that come back?
So,
that one.
I think it's actually on its way back a little bit. I don't know if y'all seen the stuff called trad wife.
Really?
Trad wife. That's a big traditional wife. So there's a whole movement that is actually happening. It's all over the internet. People are like,
really?
I'm a trad wife and I really love it. And I feel like I've found my purpose again. And, now people are very mad about that.
What do you mean? Did you go to college?
I mean, it's that, the other side is like, you're just brainwashed to believe that this is your purpose and that this is what you're supposed to be doing. And,
says the blue-haired cat lady.
Yeah, it says the lady that's got, the devil tattooed on her chest and looks like she smells like stink. But,
rocking that they, them energy.
Yeah, that they, them energy.
Inside joke for me and Steve.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he likes to make a joke for the one person in the room.
I'm really good at inside jokes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we need to talk about shroudedrealities.com.
Thank you. It is that time.
It is that time.
I was going to
almost
gloss right
on
over
the nose.
There's so much with this. I was going to gloss right over it.
Yeah, it's really easy to miss, but we can't let people miss it because it's such a big deal.
It is important.
It is
for people to know where to go get your Shrouded Realities swag.
Yeah, that's right.
Where do they go, Connor?
ShroudedRealities.com.
ShroudedRealities.com.
I've heard that if you whisper, we can have a little ASMR moment.
I don't like ASMR. It makes me uncomfortable. It really makes me uncomfortable.
Little ASMR moment there.
Don't like it.
Yeah. Everybody just got soothed and ready to go to shroudedrealities.com.
Or extremely creeped out and they just changed the channel.
It's a 50-50 split. Yeah. You gotta please one side. You can't please both. So you gotta choose a side and commit.
It's either about they or them. You know what I'm saying?
It's they or them, and you just gotta pick one.
And they've got the energy. So
they've got that energy.
You went there.
Yeah.
Go check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't, you can look at it. We got free content on there.
Yeah, jump on there. We've got free stuff. It's $2 a month though.
Yeah. If you see what you see, just know that you're going to get this stuff 2 or 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
You can get it pretty much as soon as. I mean, that's literally the first thing I do. As soon as I get done with editing, boom, it goes on Patreon.
It goes on Patreon
it's
immediately.
2 Arizona sweet teas a month.
That's it.
Can you do that and have a kid there?
Oh yeah, you got to choose between.
Luckily, everybody's really selfish and they don't care, so they're just like, you know what, $2 a month is nothing for us.
Yeah.
You want to hear another big word I learned this week?
What?
Hedonism.
Hedonism.
That's
a gross thing. You know what that is?
Hedonistic mindset.
Yeah.
Just always looking for yourself and worrying about your own pleasures.
Yeah, that's really where that goes. I think is your own pleasures. That's where hedonism is. I think.
Which is really laid out in the Bible a lot.
Yeah. Like deny yourself, which nobody does anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zero.
At all.
But you know what you shouldn't deny yourself from?
What's that?
A t-shirt.
A t-shirt or some.
Or stickers.
Stickers.
You can deny yourself a lot of things.
Keep your hands to yourself right now, please.
That's right.
Don't throw them out there. Don't make motions
talking about
with your...
this?
Yeah. just put up a black screen that says I'm not doing this.
I want you to look at the monitor because I did notice this last time. You're really bad at going.
Well, I'm not used to this angle.
You're out of the screen, so it's like stickers. I can't put them there. So you need to keep them in the frame.
You gotta learn how to just move with me. I'm over here just doing hand motions and just
doing some avatar action.
Sticker.
Now that's cool. I can do that.
Sticker.
I can do that. Well, see your right hand right there? Okay, it just went out of screen. I can't put a sticker there.
One hand did, but the other one didn't.
Just cut it in half.
But, I mean, where do you find a deal that good?
ShroudedRealities.com. You get 5 stickers of assortment designs.
You're going to get some dupes, but guess what you do with those dupes? You give them to a buddy. And you're like, have you listened to this?
Yeah.
Because if you haven't, you need to.
I'm a boomer. What's a newt?
A dupe? Duplicate?
Yeah. Multiple. You get... You get duplicate of the same
English
sticker.
Is hard. I mean, he says Malthusianism, but duplicate's hard.
Dupes.
I struggle with you, young.
Can he say Genesis?
Genesis?
Yeah.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. Anyway, we need to get into population control a little more. Everybody go to shroudedrealities.com.
Yep.
Check it out.
Yeah, we got a blog. Some love. Ruby made an appearance last episode.
Yeah.
And if you want to see her story, go to the shroudedrealities.com. There's a blog that tells why she's here.
Yeah.
And she's been talking about her. She's here.
Also, and we need to get out of this break because we're 4 minutes in. But regardless, we need to say we've got a Spotify. Everybody, that's probably our main platform right now.
We've got about everything, don't we?
We've got everything. Spotify, give us a follow, 5-star rating. That really helps push us out there. Get everybody, able to see us, because right now you can't. We're buried under the algorithm.
And before we move on I want to give a shout out to Let's Get to the Bottom of That podcast.
Them boys,
man, are super freaking awesome. We hopped on. They've got a live stream. It kind of, I'll tell a story real quick, but we hopped on their live stream, and I thought it was going to be like, we're in the background, we're just going to watch their little live show, whatever. Them suckers put us like, boom, right on the screen, let us plug all our stuff. Yeah. I'm going to try to share that live stream. I think they've got it.
It's posted.
You can share it.
It's posted. You can watch Connor do dishes.
Yep.
Yeah, loudly. I want to know what kind of microphone you was rocking.
my earphones.
God,
taking up everything.
Those things are you could hear what was going on outside.
Yeah.
Those things were loud.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. It was a funny little moment, but
it was it was a good time. Those guys are awesome. Yep. Go check them out. We want to give them a shameless plug too. Let's get to the bottom of that. They're everywhere. Yeah. Go find them. Give them all the things that we want as well.
Yeah, I feel like our content. You'll like theirs. They're a lot like us. Funny.
Yeah.
Talk about stuff like this, but funny and mix it up.
Yeah.
Which I like.
They keep it fresh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, because you get to talking about population control and sperm counts. It gets pretty boring.
One of those things do.
Golly.
Anyway, population control.
Population control. I kept running into a bunch of sperm count videos. Because
could you explain to me what that is?
Was there a lot of Cheerio ads?
Kellogg sponsored every episode, which is odd.
They're great. Sperm counts, they're great. There you go.
But that kind of led to. I mean, that talk led to it because so sperm count is going down overall across the world, which is leading to one of the key factors to population decreasing.
Yeah.
Because if you can't make babies, you can't
make babies.
You can't make babies. You can't increase population. So
tell them about the Cheerios thing. I mean, you told me about it last week, I think.
Oh yeah, if you eat Cheerios, it's going to decrease Honey Nut Cheerios in particular. I don't know what it is about the honey, but yeah.
Son, I'm scared to hear what you're going to say right now because I love some Honey Nut Cheerios.
How many kids did you say you had already?
I've got 2.
You're not going to get that point 1.
That point 1 may be in jeopardy.
That's a
problem. In that case, yeah.
Right.
But eating Cheerios, but specifically Honey Nut Cheerios, tends to lower your sperm count and testosterone.
What?
So,
dang it.
Yeah. Hey, you'll only have to shave every other day.
Yeah, that's right.
The milk doesn't offset that any?
Maybe that's why my beard grows in all white trashy like.
Didn't see anything that could correct that. But
just put more milk in it? I don't know.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Skim milk or whole?
Whole milk.
Raw milk.
Straight
soy milk. Soy milk will help.
Yeah, soy milk will it'll replace your testosterone with estrogen.
You got a gluten allergy? Let's ruin your whole life.
Yeah.
So, that does.
Does it not play into the food conversation?
I'm not going to get weird and put my personal stuff out there, but I did quit eating Honey Nut Cheerios after our food conversations. And
you feel like more of a man now?
Without getting gross, yeah.
By you saying by not getting gross, you made it grosser.
Yeah.
Actually,
you painted the picture.
Yeah, everybody.
Maybe your mom stepped away right now.
Yeah, sorry, Mom.
Yeah, that is a thing. So obviously, Honey Nut Cheerios, which is a General Mills product, that is not Kellogg's, but
but it's still not a.
I don't know what
same hand, different finger. I mean,
that feels gross.
I'm sorry.
You took it weird.
I'm making analogies.
Yeah.
So where was we with it? Sperm counts?
Yeah, sperm counts.
Cheerios. And so that man, I didn't even want to go there, but the plastics and everything was kind of a key indicator from what I was understanding of where even if you wanted to have babies, you couldn't because of this. Mm-hmm. And we all know somebody that Connor touched on it earlier. I kind of want to circle back to it, but the mindset that we have to go to college, we have to work, we have to make a lot of money before we can have a baby. So even if you wanted to have a baby, even if it was part of your plan to have a baby, you would go, all right, got to go to college. All right, maybe you find love in college. You get out of college, guess what? you're in crippling neck deep debt that you can't get out of. So you got to work a lot. Use your degree that you in underwater basket weaving or whatever you did to make a lot of money. So you
spend 10 years.
So you got to work a lot of money. I mean, you got to work to make a lot of money and pay off the debt. Then you got to get yourself where you feel comfortable to have a baby that you can financially support it. And then guess what? By then you're 30, 33, you're on up there. There's a 50-50 chance now with the way sperm counts are and female fertility is that you're not going to be able to have a baby.
Yeah.
So
even if you are, it's going to be one.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're pushing it.
And thank you for listening to the end of part 1 of this population control episode. This one went a little long, so we're going to split it into 2 episodes and make you wait till next week for part 2, unless you're a Patreon subscriber.
Jump on that Patreon, you can do it all at once.
Catch it all at once. But stick with us next week. We're going to hit part 2 of the population control conversation.
I think we went a little deeper in that part 2. We started digging a little deep, so you don't want to miss it for sure.
Yeah, definitely stick in. So catch us on the next episode. For Stephen, Connor, Joey, and Ruby the podcast dog, thanks for listening. Catch you next week.